Good morning, folks. This is Three Dudes and a Lady. Good morning. This is a platform for motivation and inspiration to your day. I hope everyone's doing well. My name is Earl, hailing out of the beautiful state of North Carolina. And my gratitude for today is air conditioning because it is a hot day. Jay, you're muted.
Really, you didn't miss much of an introduction while I was muted, but my name is Jay Anderson and I am from West Virginia. My gratitude for the day is neighbors. It's really nice to have some nice neighbors.
Hey guys, I am Christine Wright, hailing out of the great state of Florida. My gratitude for the day is quality time with my daughter Emma. We had a great day yesterday. It was a long day, but it was a good day. Today, Jay Shetty talked about conversations and closeness, right? Our interactions. Um, we want to find ways to go deeper and connect, right? Fostering connection through conversation. He spoke of a friend group that had dinner coming up with old friends and they haven't been together in a while, a couple of years. And the one girl was excited because she thought that she was going to reconnect and go deep with her friends, and all they talked about was reviews for movies, right? The night ends, and that's all they spoke about was entertainment, right? Sometimes we are craving a more profound connection than just surface level. But we're also scared and uncomfortable to go there, right? To go a little bit deeper. We want to be seen, heard, and understood, right? The surface level conversation sometimes can go deeper, especially if there is a connection, right? If there was a connection about the movie, right? It could sometimes lead to something a little bit deeper. Jay spoke of three questions to ask that will help you go deeper, right? What has been your biggest win? What has been your biggest challenge? And is there something that I can help you with, right? People will open up with these questions. You open the door for vulnerability and closeness, and hopefully they follow. Now, that's the scary part is sometimes that doesn't happen, right? And then we're kind of stuck. Yesterday, my son's girlfriend was working, and when she came home, she was like, "Oh, the conversations that I had with my customers were so great. Like it was like going back and forth, right? So like she was actually having conversations instead of just one way conversations, which sometimes happens, right? If people aren't willing to keep going back and forth. But she said it was like amazing, like, and a lot of times with connectors, right? She's definitely a connector. You want the conversation to keep going back and forth, right? You don't want it just to be one-sided. Whereas an introvert, sometimes we are okay with a one-sided conversation. What are you guys' thoughts?
My thought about I consider myself to be an introvert, even though in some parts in this I'm an extrovert. But most of me is an introvert. I'm kind of like a little bit distant person. I'm more of an observer than a person who speaks out. But then again, when I'm having a conversation, I believe in talking to people who are on the same level as me, that having an intelligent conversation and just one-sided conversations can really, I can't say that it's not going to resonate with anybody, but it's a little blah.
For sure, definitely. Have any of you guys ever tried the three questions he spoke of? When I was
Say that.
recruiting heavily, I did.
Say that. Ask again. I didn't hear you.
Have you guys ever tried the three questions that he spoke of?
No, not necessarily worded like that, but I do like it.
Yeah, and when we were recruiting heavily, we used those questions a lot.
And I can understand. I can see that.
Yeah,
So for me, uh, I don't know why everybody considers me an extrovert, but you guys do for some odd reason.
I
So,
don't know either. I have no idea.
but I'm the person that does ask those types of questions. I enjoy engaging in conversation. Uh, and having said that, meaningful conversation is very important to me. It is how I roll. It is part of my DNA. And I think you guys probably witness it daily because I throw a lot of questions out there. And sometimes it's not that it's a setup question, but I might already have an idea in a direction, but I want to get your fresh take. So instead of just me throwing and blabbermouthing, I'll throw the question out. And that allows the conversation to really get going. And it does take us down a rabbit hole a lot. And I don't apologize for that because that's, to me, I think that's the fun part of what we do is any topic that Jay Shetty discusses can be a surface level conversation if we allow it to be that way. And I think part of the beauty is we kind of take it and just scratch right below that surface level a little and have fun with it. Personally, I love it. I think we all do. I think there's a reason the four of us get on here on a daily basis. And sometimes it's some when you leave church, do you feel and maybe good about yourself? Maybe you feel like, I'm so glad that I took the time to do this. Well, that's how I feel as well with this platform. And I just enjoy doing it. And I know I joke a lot and joust a little here and there, but it's more of an attempt to get to know you guys better. Uh, you guys have opened up. We all have. We've all been very vulnerable at times on this platform, and it's just moving to me. And it allows us, I think, to see that though we are different individuals, there are some common threads that we do really have. So, Conversations and Closeness is a really good title. And what's your biggest win? What's your biggest challenge? What can I help you with? Man, aren't those great questions? Those are not closed in questions for a yes or no. They're open ended. They say you're going to have to say more than 2 words to me.
For sure.
That's kind of the cool part behind it.
You definitely have to say more than just 2 words, right? It's not the weather.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Earl. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good. For me, I think surface level questions are a key component in anything, whether it comes to the business or even on a personal level. And if they're open-ended questions, I think that's a lot better because it can open up another door to what we're talking about or what the conversation is engaging. So I mean, that's the way I see it.
You run into someone, think about this, Earl. You make a good point. You run into someone you haven't seen in a while,
Right.
someone maybe that you grew up with or whatever.
Mhm.
If the first question comes out of their mouth, hey, how's your family? First thing come out of your mouth, hey, how's your family? I, what's the general response?
Good.
Fine, fine.
Yeah. So my question is, when that person asks the question, are they really even invested in talking to you?
But the thing is, it's the tonality and how you respond to it. If it's a quick fine, it's like, okay, you walk it away from that. Okay, well, good talking to you.
No,
Well, I think it depends on who the person is that's asking the question too,
Oh,
because
that's true. Yeah.
like if it's somebody you don't know that well and they're asking that type of question, a lot of times we will keep it surface level and say, oh, they're fine. But like if my brother or my sister-in-law, which this happened like last week or the week before, me and my sister-in-law had a great conversation about our kids and which doesn't normally happen like that, so it was nice that we just kind of went a little bit deeper than we normally would, right? So it really depends on who's asking the question and then how well you know them.
And it depends on where you are too. We practice surface level questions every day. You don't realize it. Give you an example. When you go to the grocery store, do you really want to get engaged in a conversation? No,
No,
because you ask very surface level questions and you give surface level answers, and then you say, have a nice day, and walk on your way.
for sure.
So we practice this more than what we realize. But I think One thing that we have in common, the three of us, and Mike's included when he's here, because we are salespeople, we do ask a lot of open-ended questions because we know that we're going to get more out of that. It's going to give us the advantage of being able to truly help someone because we don't have a yes, no, my health good. Okay. Well, you really get to know these people a little bit better. And it is it is how we do say it. And it does matter, Christine, to your point a minute ago, who we're asking the questions to. And that's the hard part about sales sometimes, particularly phone sales or Zoom or whatever, instead of in person. We don't get to really pick up on a tremendous amount of nonverbal cues that says possibly, I'm having a bad day, so I'm just going to be closed guarded. And then you're on the other end as the salesperson, and you're like, these people are not interested. It happens. That's a common feeling, And so how do we overcome that? And part of it is, I think if you do ask some of these very open, what's your biggest win? You can't say life. I mean, you're not going to just say life and stop. You're going to expand on it. So it's a question that forces the open-ended
Yeah.
portion of it.
Go ahead, Earl.
You kind of stole my thunder a little bit because
Oh, let me retract what I
Way to
just
go,
said.
Jay. Way to go.
No, man, I didn't mean to. Hold on. Good news, folks. Got a knife right here. Go ahead, Earl.
That's
Shouldn't
fine.
have done that. That wasn't nice. Okay. Sorry, Earl. I didn't mean to steal your thunder. I was not trying to.
No, what in our business, you touched up on something that I think a lot of us resonate with, even the ones that are not that don't do this call. Asking open-ended questions to clients, if you could tell that they're not interested, it's how you pivot the questions to kind of bring things down a little bit, to just engage in the conversation and say, okay, you have filled out a form requesting this information. You're telling me you're not interested. Why did you fill out the form? I'm like, and just your tonality and your posture, or if they reply to you online, that I said, "Are you sure? Was it your spouse that filled it out, even though they put your name on it?" I said, and I'll tell people, I see this each and every day. My job is just to reach out to you. That's all. And we're just having a conversation. This is not a sales call. My job is just to get information to see if we're a good fit to work together. Like that.
You made me think of something, Earl. Back when I was a young man and I sold boats as a livelihood. Uh, I don't know why I felt this was important, but I did practice this, and I'm not sure why I did. I suspect my hearing loss had something to come into play on this, maybe, but we sold a lot of boats to doctors. Okay. There's a local lake, and at the time there was a lot of physicians that lived on this lake. And when I would go introduce myself, if I was trying to help, buy a boat or whatever,
You would
they,
introduce yourself as Dr. J. No, I'm just kidding.
well, yeah, yeah, because I loved him, man. The Sixers were my team when I was growing up. That's awesome. Way to go. That's a good job there, Christine. I like that.
I'll be here all day. Just kidding.
Yeah. So they would introduce themselves. I'm Dr. So and so, whatever. And I would say, I'm Jay. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your first name. Okay. Earl, you just said it. You got to bring a level playing field to a conversation. And when I said, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your first name. And most of the time when they gave the first name, it's, oh, okay, I'm Jay. Uh, please call me Jay. And if you need anything, well, I'll help you. Then at one time I had I'm Dr. So and so. And I said, oh, hi, I'm Jay, and I'm sorry, I didn't catch your first name. And they said, I'm Dr. So and so. I said, oh, I'm sorry, I'm Mr. Anderson. So I had to come up to this level just a little bit. This happened to me one time, and this dude was perplexed. And I realized this guy wants to feel value. Now, I'm a young guy, and I don't understand how I understood that, but I did. This guy wants value. Do you know
And
what I did? I took him to the most expensive boat. Why? Because I showed value for him.
Yes. Because he paid a lot of money for that doctor in front of his name.
Evidently, that was a learning experience for me. And why I did it that way, I don't know. But he ended up calling me Jay, and I said, "Well, wait a second. Now, if you're going to call me Jay, I'd like to at least know your first name." I got it out of him at that point. All of a sudden, we did this, and then all of a sudden, there was a wall that was let down, and I jumped over a wall, and he let a wall down. It was two ways, and again, don't ask me why I did it. And I don't understand the dynamics behind that, but that's what I did. And now I'm starting to learn and see where the dynamics of that really come into play. I was
hey,
too
Jay,
mature at the time to understand that. I wouldn't have known the difference.
Hey, Jay, I want to give you an example on my side of a client that I had. I think this is going a little well over a year ago. Um, in outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, there was a lady. She wanted mortgage protection, and she was very guarded at first. I mean, talking to her, it was like you had to build that connection like right away with her. I mean, I'm gonna guess she's in her 50s, if I'm not mistaken. But building that connection, you could tell that getting by her was like trying to get by a barbed wire fence. I mean, it wasn't that easy. But the thing is, when she heard that I was resigning in North Carolina and I was only an hour and a half away from her, she slowly put her fence down, and I let her know who I was and what. And I told her, I said, I'm not here to sell you anything right now. I'm just trying to get some information from you to see if this works. And then I let her do the talking.
Sure.
And we immediately, the wall started coming down, but the engagement started building. And one thing led to another. I sold her mortgage protection. She was approved, but also I was able to reset her because after that sale, we had a conversation. I let her know what we can do for her after the sale. And that led to a reset, which led to other things, also led to referrals. But it was that engagement in the conversation, asking open-ended questions, and to just shut up and let them talk. Okay. And that one, and our good friend Jason Mitchell can condemn this. He goes, that's probably one of the better cases I've ever had since I've been here because I dug in to that conversation to, kind of open things up. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
But here's an interesting thing. And I don't know that I've ever thought about this before, but you said something, Earl, that just kind of sparked my mind. The gears were turning, and finally they got in sync with one another. But here's the interesting thing: conversation that you have from a business standpoint
Yep.
versus a conversation that you have just from talking to someone that you go to dinner with or meet at a store, someone you just met,
Hmm.
not business related. Are they different conversations?
Well, there are different conversations, but there are conversations that, you can build on a surface level in that frame, that mindset of what if it's a friendship or if it's something you may have in common or depending on what the conversation is going to be about. I mean, it's one of those things you got to pivot in your mind a split second if you're going to engage in that conversation. Does that make sense?
Well, I'm gonna throw something. I don't know that I believe this, so I'm gonna try to word this carefully.
Okay.
Because the more I'm sitting here thinking about it, let's go back to what you said, surface level. In the game of sales,
Right.
conversation has to be very quick, has to be short,
Mhm.
and we need to try to nail it as quick as we can in terms of what the potential outcome could be. So let's go back to meeting someone. Someone introduces you to someone, you're at an event of some sort. Okay. Do people, when you're introduced, do you think people judge quickly what they hear and see from you as you're being introduced to them?
For sure.
Okay. So my
Earl
question,
apparently does too, otherwise his camera would be on.
I
Well, that was weird.
thought you were shutting me down, but that's
Right?
okay.
He's like, forget this. I am not talking to you anymore. We are not connecting.
You're wrong. Well, but so in essence, isn't the time frame really similar? Maybe more so than what we realize. But we, as the pursuer, the one that engages the conversation, feel more relaxed away from the business side than maybe. And you always hear the phrase, be yourself. So you're yourself when you're out on the street meeting someone. Here, you're trying to be someone else's self to a degree. You're trying to be on their level like that. So why not carry that same conversation unilaterally? It's
And
only a thought, and this just came to my mind. I have no clue what the hell I'm talking about, but I'm just asking those questions.
but the first thing that just came to my mind as you were talking, Jay, was posture. How we posture ourselves with those questions. And we're talking, quick and at the moment. So
I still think go back to be yourself at all times,
absolutely, you have to.
even in sales. I think the results will come better, really on either side. Now, can we work on it? Look, some people they just come off as standoffish no matter what. Is that their intent? Maybe sometimes, but sometimes it's not. It's who they are. It's
Right.
just, look, I really don't want you to know my business.
And a lot of the times the standoffishness that people have is not necessary. It's very surface level. And maybe it's because they are not a connector, right? And it's uncomfortable for them. So
I
they
go
might
back,
not try to be standoffish, but it's like one of those, it's just their default,
I
right?
go back, I go back to that doctor scenario that I
Yeah,
just gave
exactly.
you
Yep.
because that was 100% what that was. And I don't, uh, now listen, times have changed. When we were growing up, the manners meant a tremendous amount as a young kid. I mean, my dad and my mom, look, if they were introducing me to someone and I wasn't doing it right, they stopped it right there, and they didn't care if it was out loud. They wanted everybody to know that they're teaching us manners. And all of a sudden, we're like, oh, okay, yes, sir. And the cool part about it is it only took one time to learn that lesson. That was not
Oh,
a
yeah.
repeated offense.
That was not repeated. Absolutely. And think
So,
about it, you as a parent, like a lot of times, our success and failure is based off of if our kids are graduating college and doing all these things. For us, for Mike and I, it's if our kids treat other people, other humans with complete and utter respect, no matter what the situation is, I've won, right?
yes,
Like, and it doesn't matter if it's a homeless guy on the street or a doctor in a doctor's office. I don't
that's right.
really care one way or the other. You're going to
That's
treat
right.
them the same regardless and be respectful.
That's right.
And Jay, your parents did a great job of embarrassing you so that you would get it right.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I really, trust me, I feel that way. It's the the one thing in life that, and it's still one of the mysteries to me, and it baffles me a lot of times, but communication is so important to get through life. And this title, at the very least, is so important. Sometimes the surface level does not do justice for what really needs to take place. And this is just one of those conversations that you really need that rabbit hole. You need to explore it because it's so fragmented. Within that rabbit hole, the roots are coming through and you're dodging it. Those are the obstacles in the path. And yes, Earl, there's guardrails. It's called the hole itself. It keeps you in that. You can't get out of it. But I think communication is one of the biggest issues within the political arena, that we really face hardships in today's times because the communication is so broken. Uh, I think it's turned into a very closed-in questioning that's going on. Even though reporters will do these open-end questions, these politicians are very short in an answer because they're unclear of the true answer themselves a lot of times. I feel like.
Hey, Jay,
Yes,
before
sir.
we close out, I just want to say that guardrails sometimes can also be used where we're doing surface level questions because we don't know what we're walking into. Sometimes you've got to build those guardrails, because especially if it's in a business sense, um, because we don't want to be stepping on the wrong foot, and we certainly want to make sure that we are engaging with that person at that time.
Yeah. Just the only thing that I can think of, the best results for me is if I do use surface level questions or very closed-ended questions, it's very brief. It's very brief because if you continue to carry on with it, then things get lost quickly. And that's where a lot of sales in the business side aspect of it, that's where a lot of sales are lost because it's not concise. It's not getting to what you really need. Now, having said that, that's my take. Doesn't mean anything. And yes, folks, I'm jumping into it right now. We are not licensed therapists, nor are we acting like we are. Our conversations really between the three of us, and most of the time the four of us. We just like sharing the content because there is a lot of relevancy within what we do say and hear and repeat. So there's a lot of things that we enjoy talking about because Jay Shetty on the app Com provides the content for us. Please join us on every weekday morning. I know I've been saying every morning. I need to get this right. Every weekday morning. And join us.
Yeah, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Please come back for more. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Uses.
Peace.